All right, I'm here with Jade Avedisian. We're at North Wilkesboro Speedway for this Cars Tour weekend. And Jade, with you being so new to the asphalt world, where does the historic North Wilkesboro rank for you as far as these asphalt tracks that you've visited so far?
I'd say this is top of the board so far. So hopefully we have a smooth night tonight. Obviously this track has a lot of history and there's a lot of eyes on it tonight. So just excited to be here though. But yeah, I would say this is number one so far.
Yeah, and one thing I want to ask is 2023 was such a successful year with you, winning the Extreme Outlaw Midget Championship. And how did you manage your relationship with your teammate, Cannon McIntosh, knowing the two of you were 1 and 2 in points all season?
Yeah, for sure. Like me and Cannon definitely went, back and forth a lot in 2023, and there was some moments where we might not have liked each other, but it's actually funny. We would go home every single night, or we would take him home. My parents would every night.
You were right home.
Yeah.
I didn't know. That's awesome.
So we're all good now. But he's had a great, past. Realistically, a year and a half so far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool to see him, do well. But it was fun for sure to race against him.
And another question, I'm kind of going to piggyback off 2023. 2024 in the midget was kind of a valley in the middle of two successful mountains for you. And what is it like as a racer mentality, being so competitive when you're in one of those lull periods in your career and you just know you're going to find your way out? And how do you do that?
Yeah, it was definitely tough. I don't feel like I've ever had a year that was, not so good, and I feel like 2024 was one of those years. But I don't know. I just kind of moved on, from it, and took what I learned from all year, and just moved on. Obviously, I don't have any, dirt on my schedule right now, and I'm just putting all my focus into one thing. So I think that's been a huge help, but it also takes, good people around me and good teams, around me for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of leaning on people and good teams around you, you mentioned when you were growing up, you and Corey Day were actually neighbors, and the two of you are transitioning from dirt to asphalt at the same time. So do the two of you kind of lean on each other for racing advice and career advice, or even just life advice, and what's that relationship like?
Not really, honestly. Obviously, he's kind of doing his own thing right now, and so am I. But we were neighbors, growing up in California, and we still get together sometimes. And he's just a family friend. So it's cool to see, two people from Clovis kind of venture out here and into a whole different world that's not dirt. So it's cool to see someone else do it as well.
And speaking of that, what's been the biggest challenge in the year and a half now you've lived in Mooresville, moving all the way across the country from home?
Honestly, I don't really feel like I have one. I feel like, Mooresville kind of seems like home for me right now, and, probably the next, handful of years. But, I don't feel like it was too big of a change, honestly.
Yeah, I get that. And lastly, this is such a big weekend coming up next weekend with the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. I just want to know who your picks are to win those two races.
I don't know.
You can shoot from the hip, just first names that come to mind.
Yeah, I would say that, like what Kyle's doing, Larson, is pretty cool, the double. So, hopefully he has a good weekend. Hopefully he doesn't get rained out. But, on the IndyCar side. But the 600, I'm not too sure, honestly.
I got it. Well, Jade, thank you so much. This was so fun doing this interview, and I look forward to maybe doing this again another time or seeing you in the future on my podcast, which is the B Main.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.